Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Actually, everybody, no, 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 no. Great morning, everybody. Great morning. Ooh. Excuse me. Excuse me. Not a good morning. No, 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 no. Not a good morning. A great morning to you all. Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. If you need a roof, you call Parish. It's that simple. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Remember, Unique Physique, semaglutide, tirzepatide. You probably saw the news this week. Going to be hard for a lot of people to get tirzepatide. Not Unique Physique. They got it. In Spanish, anti in Spanish. Okay. Lowest price, actually just lowered prices last week as well. No contracts. Ship anywhere in the country. Do the whole thing over telemed. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com. Restored Motion, and Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Okay, y'all. Give me one brief memento here so I can that's what I wanted. Boom. I'm going to go ahead and pin the Parish link here because I have a feeling there's a lot of people that are going to watch today. By now, you know, it's so good. It's so good. By now, you know, Alabama had the daunting task of playing in front of about 20,000 people at a construction site. Excuse me. It didn't go well for them. Oh, man. For the first time in 40 years, the Vanderbilt Commodores beat the Alabama Crimson Tide. Oh, 40-35. Vanderbilt, yes, Vanderbilt. The Vanderbilt Commodores. Quarterback by a kid that once played at a New Mexico JUCO. Coached by a former fullback who said that he was going to make Vanderbilt the best job in college football. Vanderbilt, who hasn't filled a stadium with its own fans ever. Vanderbilt hung 40 points and 400. No, let me not just say 400 yards. Let me give you the exact number because I don't want to do any disservice or injustice to the Vanderbilt Commodores. And I certainly don't want to give the Alabama defense any semblance of an out. No, it was 418 glorious yards that Vanderbilt put up on Alabama. 166 on the ground. Vanderbilt held the ball for 42 minutes and 8 seconds. Your former Heisman frontrunner, Jalen Milroe, and that vaunted Alabama offense, just 17 minutes and 52 seconds of possession. Vanderbilt absolutely dominated Alabama at the line of scrimmage. Y'all, forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, as long as the Nick Saban nightmare in Tuscaloosa reigned, what was the single biggest advantage that Alabama had on everybody? You know it. You can say it out loud. You're having your coffee like I am. Oh, my Darren James mug. You don't have to say it out loud. You can just think it. The single biggest advantage Alabama had over everybody always was at the line of scrimmage. They were better than everybody at the line of scrimmage. Right? I mean, we saw Leonard Fournette go from Heisman lock to 15 carries for 30 yards because they couldn't move A'Shawn Robinson and Jerron Reed and those guys. And Vanderbilt just went and possessed the football for 42 minutes and 8 seconds, dominated the line of scrimmage against Alabama, held Jalen Milroe, by the way, to Jalen Milroe had 7 carries for 10 yards. It's so good, y'all. It's so good to be right. Oh man. All last week, y'all. I listened to all the mess last week when they beat Georgia. I listened to all of it. And I subtly as I could, try to remind you that you could focus on Bama building the big lead. But in so doing, you're ignoring the fact that they blew a 28-point lead on their home field. You're ignoring the fact that Georgia absolutely suffocated Alabama in the second half. I think Bama had 16 rushing yards in the second half of that game. Winning mass deficiencies, losing magnifies them. You could look at it and say, what resilient, great job to build that lead, resilience to come back after Georgia's rally and blah, 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 blah. Or you could say, man, they blew a 28-point lead on their home field. They needed 4 turnovers and a safety and a miracle play by a freshman to eke past Georgia on their home field. And both of those realities are true. It's just when you win, you ignore the negative reality. But it's still a reality, and you saw it Saturday against Vanderbilt. Oh, tomorrow is going to be so much fun, y'all. Monday at 3 o'clock. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do. I've been thinking about it since the clock hit 0. All right, please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. By the way, if you've not checked out tons of coverage over at LouisianaSports.net, we got the game recap for Vanderbilt, Bama. We've got an incredible piece by Chris Marler, Numbers to Know, putting some perspective. The numerical and historical context of that win is crazy. Like I'll post it in the chat. Hang on, I'll do it real quick. I'll be real quick. I promise. We had the Twitter Reacts piece. There's some of the best tweets about. Here's Numbers to Know. The best tweets about the upset. Marler's column, which God bless him too. I mean, Chris Marler is an Alabama fan. And I told him yesterday, like as soon as the game went final, I said, Marler, I know you're pissed, but you got to get to work, man. And he did awesome work yesterday. All of our graphics and everything. If you saw any of the graphics we posted, that was Chris. And even that number that everybody's using this number now. And Chris sent it to me via text and said, make a graphic. Like at halftime, in the entire time that Nick Saban was the coach at Alabama, Vanderbilt scored a total of 13 points. In the first half of Kalen DeBoer's first game, Vanderbilt scored 23. Everybody's using that now. But anyway. Okay, let's say some good morning, y'all. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Glad to have everybody here with us this morning. Devin, what's good? I'm going to move a little quickly because I know I'm going to be backlogged on comments. Jerry, good morning. Make defense great again. Kevin, Melody, I love it, y'all. Oh, it's so good. Jerry, what's going on? Devin, what's up? Chris, good morning. LSU Vandy game looks more scary. I'll tell you this. Not just that game. The whole path for LSU now, and I talked about this in today's Locked On LSU, so please go listen to it if you haven't listened or watched yet. But think about what you have next. You're home against Ole Miss, which just put it on South Carolina, a team that you struggled to beat in Columbia. You're at Arkansas, which just upset one of the highest powered offenses in the country on that field. You're at Texas A&M, which just throttled a top 10 team 41-10 on his home field. You get a bye, then you get Bama, who still got Jalen Milroe to deal with. And I don't know that LSU's defense is good enough to stop Jalen Milroe from running all over him. And who's going to cover Ryan Williams? I don't know. After Bama, you go to Florida, which I get Florida is not very good. They did beat Central Florida last night, coming off their bye. Good on them. Mississippi State, they beat Mississippi State, had their bye, beat Central Florida. Maybe they're steadying themselves a little bit. We'll see. But it's never easy to go win at Gainesville. You come home to play Vanderbilt, who just upset Alabama, and then you play Oklahoma, who gave Tennessee everything they wanted. We'll learn much more about Oklahoma this week when they play Texas. But yeah, I mean, the SEC is an unrelenting beast. There is no off week in the SEC. So yeah, I mean, the path LSU has ahead of it is treacherous and daunting, to be certain. But that has nothing to do with my joy of Vanderbilt beating Alabama. Because my point forever about Bama burning and all that stuff, it has nothing to do with an LSU perspective. It's everything to do with anyone but Alabama. And to watch those people who've been insufferable for 2 decades have to squirm. And it is so much fun to watch them. Like, I know what LSU is. I'm well aware of what LSU is as a program. Very solid program. Championship program. I mean, nobody's won. The only program that's won more championships, national championships, since other than LSU since 2003 is Alabama. But LSU also hasn't been able to avoid the dips. The consistency has been the hard part. You had a 5-loss season in 2008. You had the 2010 or 2020, 2021 seasons under Ed. That's been LSU's issue. But I know what LSU is. And they'll be back. Finish off this 2025 class. Get Jakeem Stewart in this 2025 class. Go get everybody from 26 in the state of Louisiana to commit. Oh, be right back there. We'll be celebrating soon enough. Jerry G still stunned from Saturday. Crazy. Need Texas to lose now. Immediate reaction video was good. Thanks for watching, Casey. Appreciate it. Jesse, what a crazy Saturday college football. Ready for burning in Bama. So Bama is burning. I am trying to look, to be very honest with you, not that I'd ever lie. Bama is burning would have been good had they lost to Georgia. It would have been even better had they lost to Georgia after blowing a 28-point lead. It is on an exponential level going to be better after Vanderbilt. Oh, man. Sways, what's up? Jacob. Yeah, man. Rex would miss the show for the one. Chance, how about the BK coaching tree this weekend? Elko and Lee. Does BK get credit? I guess so. I mean, look, to your point, I mean, Mike Elko and Clark Lee were both defensive coordinators for Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. I mean, there is that. That's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah. Great day in the morning. Good morning, Jason. And my Robin Williams voice. Good morning, Uncle Scone. Tony Williams. You better believe it. Brett, at insult to injury, Eli Holstein's 5-0 at Pitt. See, here's the thing, though, Brett. Like, here's my thing on Milroe, okay? Jalen Milroe is a really good college football player. He is probably the best athlete on any field he steps on. Maybe Ryan Williams might have something to say about that. My problem with Milroe as a passer is, and this has been my contention for the Alabama quarterbacks. Same with Mac Jones, same with Bryce Young. You're seeing it now as well. Probably Tua to a degree, although I think Tua, the concussion thing is just very, very sad. I mean, nobody ever wants to see that, but even Tua struggled early in his NFL career. My contention is when you just got better athletes than everybody on the outside, it's easy to put up gaudy numbers. If you actually watch the Bama Vandy game, Milroe hit 2 deep balls, one to Jeremy Bernard and one to Ryan Williams. One of them was the long one that Williams scored on. It was a 58-yarder. And then one to Bernard was 47. Both of those balls were dramatically underthrown. Like, receiver had separation, had to stop and jump for the ball. Like, Jalen Milroe is not an accurate passer. He's just not. Like, if someone, I'm not good at editing video. Like, if someone wanted to go take a mashup of all of his throws, there's sometimes he throws darts. He threw a really nice one to the tight end over the middle and tight coverage. But that's a 50-50 proposition for him. Like, he's just got receivers that are better than everybody that go make plays. Same thing with the play Ryan Williams made against Georgia. He threw a jump ball. He threw a jump ball and his kid made a play. Awesome. Like, I mean, the thing just for relative recent comparison, Jaden Daniels a year ago, the biggest difference was his ability to throw the deep ball with accuracy. I mean, when Brian Thomas got behind the defender, Jaden Daniels hit him in stride. And you're seeing that in the NFL as well. It's translated. Like, that was a part of his game he needed to improve, and he did. So that's a part of the game that Jalen Milroe absolutely has to improve. This is a good point. The 4th and 1, Alabama has to run an end around because they can't get a yard up the middle on Vanderbilt is wild. I'm going to tell you this too, Randall. That play, now they scored on it. But the Vandy defender stayed home. It's just that Ryan Williams is just a freak and outran him. But because he's a defensive end for Vanderbilt, and that's Ryan Williams. But that play doesn't work. Kalen DeBoer, I mean, that was akin to the Flinda Bird thing. The 1 second left, throwing the ball into the end zone. Like, you chose a very low percentage play that if it doesn't work, you are lambasted forever. If it does, you're a genius. I think they even said it on the broadcast. I think it was Tom Hart or Cole who said it on the broadcast. That's true. AFR is going to be epic. Dustin, the rant after the Bama game was legendary. Scone, Bama's burning. Juan, good morning. No one's talking about how DeBoer looks on the sidelines. Wear a polo for Pete's sakes. He looks like a gym bro that just walked out of a Cottondale Walmart. Nick would never. What? Man, Cottondale, Alabama, just catching strays, man. Steve Scott, good morning. Yesterday was insane. Happy you did stay up and see the whole Miami game. Definitely playing with a horse. Did Miami win? Y'all, full disclosure. So I had money on Cal plus 10. Did Miami rally and win that game? I'm looking for the final. Oh, what? Y'all, I went to bed in the third quarter when Cal went up 35-10. Oh my God. What in the world? Dude, when Cal went up 30, it was like 12-15. I was like, all right, I'm going to bed. It was 35-10. I had Cal plus the 10 points. I was like, I'm good, whatever. Oh my God. How in the world did that happen? 5-10. Dude, I missed it. Miami. Wow. Dude, I went to bed thinking Miami lost that football game. Oh, 2 weeks in a row. Yo, please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. All of our sponsors, they're excuse me, they're linked in the description on YouTube and tagged on Facebook. Good morning, D. Finton. No goalposts were safe yesterday. Neither were any favorites to win. David Joseph, whenever the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Dallas Cowboys happen to lose, America wins. I love it. Oops, I just lost my spot. Sorry, y'all. Hang on one sec. Where are we? Oh, man. Jesse, I see your comment there, man. It's on the screen. I just got to find where it is on the... There it is. I got it. I found myself. Okay. See how undisciplined Bama was at the end of the game when 13 kicked the ball and got the flag. Saban would have grabbed him by the face, dragged him off the field. There was another play, too, where, quite honestly, it was at the end of the first half. Clark Lee was ticked, and he was right to be. A Bama player literally punched a Vanderbilt player and got away with it. Now, y'all know, I'm not the conspiracy theorist. I'm not saying Bama gets away with everything. My bigger thing is, like, how is that not reviewable? Like, how do you not have some system in place with review where you can very clearly see this dude punches? By the way, it's stupid to punch someone with a helmet on. But he closed fist punched a Bama defender, 25. I don't remember what number it was. But anyway, like closed fist punched a Vanderbilt player in the helmet, which is stupid. Again, why you punch him in the helmet? But he should have been ejected from the game. Cliff, good morning. Coming to you from Nashville. Can we add Bama in the Les Miles era to Bama is burning? I think so, man. You know, I'll clarify this again. Because that clip went super viral last week. And if you didn't see it, on Monday's AFR, after the Bama-Georgia game, the point I made was this. And I made it in a long form way. It got clipped into 60 seconds in a short that omitted a lot of the context. But this was the point I made. I was watching Bama-Georgia a week ago, and it immediately hit me that when Georgia took the lead, that was going to be Kalen DeBoer's Les Miles Tennessee game. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Like 2005, Les's first game in Tiger Stadium, Monday night against Tennessee. LSU was up 21-0, and Rick Clausen led him back, and Tennessee beat LSU in overtime. And no matter what Les did the rest of his time in Baton Rouge, and he did a lot of great things. He won a national championship. He played for another, should have won a second because Bama should have never had the rematch. Won 2 SEC titles, played for a third, averaged 9 wins a season over 11 plus years. And despite that, there are people to this day who will still say, I knew from that Tennessee game. Like, they'll still bring up that Tennessee game. And my point was that Kalen was that close, was a Ryan Williams freak show play away from having that. And that's a stain you never wash off, blowing that 28-point lead at home. But they won it. But my point was, look, there was a lot of days during Les Miles' era at LSU, despite all the winning Les did, and he did a lot of it. There were a lot of days where LSU won games and fans left the stadium wondering how in the world, all angry, how in the world did we win that game? Or lost a game, scratching your head, going, no excuse to lose that game, right? And infuriated by it. And if you look at Kalen DeBoer's track record, he has a lot of that. I mean, I shared with y'all last year at Washington. They played for a national championship, but what people ignore, they blew an 11-point second-half lead at home against Oregon in the regular season. They blew a 17-point lead in the Pac-12 championship game against Oregon. Came back and won those games. You credit them because they won them. But when you play with fire, you're going to get burned. Just like look at the 2009 Ole Miss game, the Clockett game. Well, you got burned. A year later against Tennessee, it went your way. So there's going to be those days where it works, but there's going to be those days where it doesn't. And I think Bama is living that right now. It's just that they have just regressed to the pack. That's all it is. They're no longer this crimson boulder in everybody's way. They're just a very good team. They're capable of. Is Alabama capable of beating LSU? Of course. Like, they may come here and win. That's very plausible. The thing I've said over and over again, they're not going to be terrible. It's just that Nick Saban had them invincible for 20 years. And those days, they're just gone. Those days, they lost to Vanderbilt, y'all. And I've heard some excuse making like, oh, well, Saban lost to ULM in his first year. Yeah. And he inherited a garbage program from Mike Shula. Kalen DeBoer inherited the greatest and most stable program that college football has literally ever seen. They won 6 national titles in a 12-year span. Don't you dare try to compare the two. Gregory Gordy. Chance, I watched Locked on Bama yesterday. He had a comment that his show is more depressing than Locked on Panthers. Saban known for second half defense. Kalen's D known for second half collapse. Daniel Rivers, what's going on? Daniel Roof. Morning, Matt. You know the early line for the Ole Miss game. Hope we get it done Saturday. Let me check. I'm sure it's posted. I thought I saw that it was Ole Miss like 3.5, and it came down to maybe 1 after Ole Miss lost last week. Let me check, see what it is right now. Night game, yeah. Let's see. Ole Miss 2.5. Ole Miss 2.5 point favorite in Tiger Stadium. That's probably about right. Nice win for Ole Miss yesterday on the road. Defensively showed up in a big way against South Carolina. Y'all know my feeling on South Carolina's offense. I do not think that's a good offense. I mean, they scored 50 against Akron. Don't care. I think they busted a couple of big ones against LSU. But after that opening drive, they didn't really put together a sustained drive against LSU. They busted 2 big plays. I just don't think, I'll tell you, this is my point. This is what I would tell you about the South Carolina game with Ole Miss. I'm not so much concerned about LSU's offense against Ole Miss's defense. I think they'll be fine. I'm not telling you LSU to score 40, but I think they'll move the ball and score. I'm curious how much LSU's defense has improved. Because seeing Ole Miss can be limited. I mean, Ole Miss scored 24, was it 24-3 or 27-3, whatever it was. That's a very nice win. That's a very nice road win. That's gonna be a huge challenge. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ole Miss wins that game. But the thing I'll tell you, 27-3 was final. If Ole Miss comes to Baton Rouge next weekend and scores 27, I think LSU wins. I'll put it to you that way. The thing in the preseason, whenever we have all these preseason ideas about teams and games and whatever, we gather as much info as we can, what we think we know, coaches, players in, players out, all that stuff, where games are played. And then games start being played, and then that either sort of confirms or disconfirms what you think. And before the season started, my opinion on the LSU Ole Miss game was the spot on the schedule favored LSU. LSU coming off a bye. Ole Miss has not yet had an open date, and they've played. That will be their 3rd consecutive SEC game and back-to-back road conference games. So for Ole Miss, this will be their 6th game in as many weeks. I'm sorry, this would be their whoops, that's not what I wanted. Sorry. So this would be their 7th consecutive game, 7 consecutive weeks. And then their 3rd consecutive SEC game and back-to-back road conference games. And they're a little beat up, y'all. I mean, I was watching that game. Trey Harris, their receiver, left with a leg injury. Walter Nolan and J.J. Pegues, their 2 big interior defensive linemen, both left with injuries. Now, Pegues came back. I'm not sure if Nolan did. But that's a banged-up football team. They had 30 players on their injury report at the end of the week going into this the South Carolina game. So that's a banged-up football team that just went on the road, played a physical game. After playing a physical game against Kentucky, now they got to come to Baton Rouge. So I just think the spot on the schedule favors LSU. Doesn't mean they're going to win it. Now, the flip side of that also, which y'all aren't going to like, is it's also why I picked in the preseason A&M to beat LSU, because when you look at LSU's schedule, you're playing Ole Miss, at Arkansas, at A&M. It is very hard to win back-to-back road conference games. It just is, y'all. So, the other thing we'll talk about a little bit is Taysom Green, the Arkansas quarterback, left the game with a knee injury in the fourth quarter. So, LSU, depending on how serious that is, LSU may be catching Arkansas at the right time. If Taysom Green is injured and limited or not able to play, you may be going against the freshman. So, anyway, all right. Scone, no more talk about Cam Ward from everyone about Heisman race. He's garbage. I mean, they did come back and win. I didn't see the fourth quarter, but clearly it was pretty impressive. Randall Saban, 81 missed calls from Alabama. Austin, morning, marking myself safe from being a Bama fan who tried to troll Matt last week. Boy, went after a couple of them, replied to a couple of them last night. They weren't too pleased. Got a lot of expletives lobbed my way. What's up, Christian? Glorious day. I love college football. Jerry, 40. Oh, man, I'm so far behind on comments, huh? Oh, man, God, I'm like 30 minutes behind on comments. What's up, Brennan? What's going on? Good morning, Bodacious. Grandma is burning. I think you mean Bama. Brian, you got to stop texting while you drive, dog. You got to stop. You got to be safe and just watch the show, dog. You can't say grandma is burning, bro. I know you're trying to say Bama. But come on, dog. Drive safely, bro. Rusty, good morning. Try to tell him. Bama wants her coach fired. No. Really? I know, Brian. I know. Chris. Morning, Matt. Whole time I was watching Vandy Bama, all I could think was win or lose, Nick Saban would never. It was glorious. And I had Alexa play 042. So good, man. Gregory, what are your Bama radio talk show friends saying now? Don't know. None of them are calling me. Nobody, no Bama sports talk shows want me on anymore, I guess. I don't know. Can't imagine why. Spurge, if I was them, I'd put me on every day. I mean, I'm a lightning rod for Alabama people now. It's crazy. They can't quit me. Everything, they're all looking at me to see what I'm going to say. I mean, I'd put me on air every day in Alabama. Jared, good morning. Bama got pushed around by Vandy. They did. Cortland, ref screwed up another review in Miami's favor. Man, I didn't see the end of it. Blake, what's up? Watch your reaction last night, which was a thing of beauty. Bama losing. Your intensity was scary. I've got that gear, no doubt. Brennan, Bama post-game shows were great last night. A caller compared DeBoer to Les Miles. Oh, no kidding. Did he really? Can't imagine where he got that. Sambo, 1, 4, 9, 10, 11, all lost. 8 should have freaking lost. I would be very interested to see how far LSU climbs in the rankings. Now, again, polls don't matter. They genuinely don't matter. It's in the playoff era. It doesn't matter what you're ranked, but I'll be interested with all of those teams losing and LSU idle. Like how far does Bama fall? How far does Tennessee fall? Missouri should plummet. A&M should skyrocket. It'll be interesting to see today. Stephen Roby, good morning, bud. Hope y'all doing awesome, man. Christopher, can't wait for your Bama's burning segment tomorrow. Yeah, there we go. I'm a little behind on comments. Hope someone can check and mark the farm animals safe in those rural areas of Alabama from any angry Tide fans. Pastor Brandon Morning from Guanajuato, Mexico. My 9-year-old daughter wants to say hi and good morning, Drew. Awesome. Thank you, Pastor Brandon. Appreciate that, man. Please tell her we said hello. Feels like Christmas. Kyle, anchor down. Dale, good morning, y'all. Good morning. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Peter, can we start a GoFundMe to pay for Vandy's fine? It's not a bad idea. Peter, that's not a bad idea. Oh, maybe we'll do it at LouisianaSports.net. Maybe we'll start a GoFundMe to pay Vanderbilt's fine. That would be good. By the way, make sure you're reading LouisianaSports.net. If you're just joining us, missed at the beginning, we have a lot of really good stuff up there. Ryan. Oh, Gordy. Oh, it's T-Bob. Okay. A lot of good stuff up at the website right now. We got an update on Jalen Milrose Heisman odds. We got the write-up of the game. Twitter reaction, the best tweets after Alabama's loss. A great piece. Chris Marler's got a column up, and then he's got a great piece that I mentioned a bit ago, which is numbers to know. It's stats about Bama's loss and Vandy's win of just how improbable it is. I'm going to put that in the comments again. Highly recommend you go check that out. Really interesting perspective on how improbable that win was. Vandy threw the goalpost down to Main Street. Love seeing it. They threw him in the river. They threw the goalpost in the river. Alan, good morning. Robert, morning, Matt. Your post-game reaction was pure gold. You've been spot on from every aspect of Bama. Coffee tastes a little better this morning watching your content. Let's go. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you watching, man. Tony, Arkansas Pop, Tennessee as well. You know, the thing is, like, you know, like I always say, you can't see the forest through the trees. So, like, if you're zoomed in at kickoff yesterday, you're like, man, Bama's number one in the country. They beat Georgia. Kayla DeBoer is going great. You zoom out and you realize a lot of the warts of the 10,000-foot view. You realize, man, they were in a one-score game in the fourth quarter against South Florida. Man, they blew a 28-point lead on their home field against Georgia. Man, they just got run all over by Vandy, who totally dominated the line of scrimmage. Now, there's other sides of that are true, which are they rallied against Georgia. They got the 28-point lead against Georgia. They were efficient offensively against Vanderbilt. I mean, they scored 35 points having the ball only 17 minutes of the game. But the negatives exist as well. And when you lose a game, you start to highlight the negatives. And I'm telling you, man, like, Bama's going to go to Tennessee and they're going to lose. That defense, that Alabama defense, I mean, that's a matchup nightmare against a team like Tennessee. And quite honestly, LSU as well. Like, LSU is going to move the ball. I'm not telling you LSU is going to beat Alabama, but the days of Alabama shutting out LSU and holding them to, you know, like the 10-0 and the, you know, the, what's the score in 24-0, whatever the score was, and 18. Like, those days are done. Like, they just don't have the players defensively, T-Bob, like they did. So, go to the blower. You want to come say hi to Dad show? Nope. Go home. Jesse, Matt, should LSU fans be concerned about Vanderbilt rushing attack? Yeah, you should. I mean, Vandy, do y'all realize, like, Vandy missed a 28-yard field goal that would have beaten Missouri on the road? And they blew a double-digit fourth-quarter lead in Atlanta against Georgia Southern. Like, Vandy should be undefeated right now. Like, they're Vandy, but when they play well, yes, they're a problem. Like, they got a good quarterback. I mean, Diego Pavia, if you haven't watched him, I mean, I watched him in that season opener against Virginia Tech, and, like, he's a little baller, man. Not going to impress you physically, but gamer, he's wiry, he makes plays, he goes all out. Very smart with the football. You want to come say hi to Dad show? It's ironic how Vanderbilt beat Bama 2 weeks after Saban said Vanderbilt was the place you wanted to play in the SEC. It's not actually ironic, Taylor. And I'm sorry, that's not you, it's me. It's just I'm incapable of, like, a pet peeve is people who misuse irony. It's just because I'm a grammar nerd. It's not you, it's me. Nobody else cares, just me. But it's not ironic. Let's see. But yes. Oh, did y'all see? I'm sure you saw this. So Vanderbilt played that video in their stadium after they beat Bama. So they win the game, and there was someone in the scoreboard who had his camera going of the fans rushing the field. Someone in the scoreboard, in the press box, who had their camera going to the fans rushing the field. And then he pans over, and it's the video of the McAfee show of Saban saying the only place in the SEC that's not hard to play is Vanderbilt. Well, it wasn't for Nick. It is for Kalen. Ant Court, what's going on? What was Bama ranked when LSU went to T-Town, beat them in 92? LSU was unranked. That was 93. That was the game that really bought Curley another season, got him 94. Then, of course, in 94, at another losing season, lost at home to Southern Miss. But yeah, it was 93. Bama, that I think was ranked number 3. Who's a quarterback? Quarterback was injured, and David Palmer ended up playing. I'm blanking, but I'm pretty sure Bama was number 3 in the country when that happened. Ryan, USC, Bama, Tennessee. Yep, great bye week for LSU. Just sit back and watch the carnage. Ryan Musso is gonna be working his butt off for AFR segments. Kelly, good morning from Vegas. All right, Kelly. Backpack blower. Hey, you want to come say hi to Dad show? Hey, come say hi to Dad show. Come say hi. Hey, let me look at your backpack. Come see it. Let me see your backpack. Hey, come see. Let me see your backpack. That'll get him. If he thinks he's getting his backpack off. Hang on. Let me see your backpack. Then iPad. Yep. Come see. Wait, stand right here. Can you say hi to Dad show? Let's see. Almost done. Can you say hi to Dad show? Can you say hi?
Hi. Hi, Dad.
Okay, almost done. Okay, whenever your backpack beeps, come bring it to me. I'll take it off, okay? And then iPad. And then later, go to church, and then go to the mall. Okay. All right. Please smash 418 watching. I love it. Love to see it. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Always shout out to Brock and Parrish. You need an orthopedic, go to Brock and need a roof. Give us a shout. Parrish Construction and Roofing got Parrish pinned in the chat. Remember, unique physique and restored motions. Semaglutide, tirzepatide, lowest prices. Actually, just lowered prices again last week. Do the whole thing over telemed. They'll ship your medicine anywhere in the country, so you don't even need to be in Baton Rouge. They can get tirzepatide. I know there was word this week. A lot of people are worried about their ability to get tirzepatide. Unique Physique has a relationship with the pharmacies to get it, so no worries there. And never any contracts either. Best prices, no contracts, telemed, ship your medicine to your home anywhere in the country. Check them out, uniquephysique.com. Okay. Come see. All right. Good job. Come see. Okay. All right, hang on. Let's unhook you. What? Hang on. Let's unhook you. All right, you're free. All right. Okay. Hey, Taylor, good morning. Peter, when is Ryan Williams hitting the portal for a real school? Oh, God, let it be so. Ooh, if he was not on that team. Tony, Bama now officially started their Les Miles era, so to speak. All the vulgar things I heard last week. All the vulgar things I heard last week. That's so true. So SEC Shorts, that's the little funny skits that I've had him on AFR before. The guy that does those, the little funny skits, kind of recapping the week in the SEC. After this one, man. Anyone else lose sound? You shouldn't have lost sound. That's got to be on your end. I'm still plugged in. I have levels. You should be good. Brandon, good morning. Watching Bama fans melt has been cathartic. I even tuned into Locked On Bama after Locked On LSU to listen to the melt. Love it. Trivia, good morning. Rick, morning from Nash Vegas. Vandy students carried the goalpost 3.5 miles to throw it in the Cumberland River. So good. All right. Cortland, Rick, Coach Sloan needs to study that offense well because Bama couldn't stop it. It also helped that they had a quarterback that was a running threat, and LSU doesn't have that. Ooh. And Bama also allowed Georgia throwing the football to rally from a 28-point deficit. So the point is, look, one of the points I made about Alabama this preseason. And it was that. And listen, this part wasn't even my point. It was Jim Nagy of the Senior Bowl talking to Jim Nagy of the Senior Bowl at SEC Media Days. And he said, I look at Alabama on the defensive front seven and I go, where are the guys? Like, none of those guys look like Alabama guys. And then you lose 2 NFL cornerbacks, including Kool-Aid McKinstry, to the Saints. Like, that defense got gutted. They got some good young players, but they're not what they were. They're wearing the uniform, but it's not what they were. That is the point I've been making. They're talented. They're good. Of course they're going to be good, and they're going to win big games and beat good teams. But they're going to have those days as well. Like the days of Alabama winning 11 games and it being a stunning upset if somebody manages to hold to give their best effort ever and beat them. Like that left when Nick left. That's the point I've been making for 9 months. I've just been playing O Fortuna and putting flames on the back screen, and everybody thinks that I'm just a giant Bama hater. It's just the reality of what they're facing. Hunter, good morning. Jason, be honest, who had Vandy on there? You want to get banhammered from the show, Jason? You know. Jerry, Caden Miles. Rick, option and sleight of hand. Those fast and talented defenders guessing all night. Tom, good morning. What a day. Hey, Dad, good morning. Craig, Crimson Tide is burning. Salmon left for a chair. Crimson Tide is burning. Transfer portals aware. Wendell Norman. Thavanka De Silva, wish LSU was unbeaten by now. Things would have been much different. Crazy Saturday. Good morning from Sri Lanka. All right, Thavanka. Hope you're doing well, man. Bummer fans are now using DeBoer's 07. Oh, the Monroe. Yeah, I've heard like they're saying this was like when Saban lost to ULM. And the point that I've already made this point, I'll make it again, and I'll continue to make it. There's a dramatic difference. Nick Saban inherited a team that was used to losing, that was not very talented, that needed to change culture. Kalen DeBoer inherited quite literally the best and most stable program in the history of college football. There is no excuse at all for losing to Vanderbilt as a 23-point favorite, whatever they were. None. There's no excuse for that. Good morning. Bama should have lost to Georgia. They got bailed out by an unworldly talented freshman. Dale, good morning from Orange Beach. They completely want to ignore the 2 opposite situations that Saban and DeBoer inherited to mask the pain. That's true. Anybody arguing the Saban ULM thing, that is, if that helps Alabama fans sleep better at night, that's fine. But like that's the difference. Let me remove this from Alabama and bring it closer to home. Okay. That's like when people try to explain the Ed Ogeron loss to Troy and say, oh, well, he inherited a bad situation. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. And I've run through this before, so a lot of you know what I'm about to say. The situation Ed inherited midseason in 2016, I mean, your offensive line is Will Clapp, Ethan Posick, Maya Tehuma were on that line. And Maya was a really talented player. Just couldn't get it straight and, didn't play football anymore. Your running backs were Leonard Fournette, Darius Geis, Darrell Williams. Your receivers were Malachi Dupree, Russell Gage, DJ Chark. Your tight end was Foster Moreau. On the defensive line, you had Davin Gottschall, Arden Key, Lockature, and was it who's 92? Lewis. Lewis Neal, who had a 9-sack season, I believe. Your linebackers were Kendall Beckwith, Duke Riley, Deion Jones. Your cornerbacks were Tre'Davious White and Dante Jackson, and your safeties were John Battle and Jamal Adams. Anybody want to tell me that Ed Ogeron inherited a bad situation? You bogus. So, and he fell on his face in the first year, and he got super, super lucky that he got Cade York not Cade York, Cole Tracy in the portal. That is a blow. Because in 2018, Cole Tracy won you probably 3 games at least in 2018. And then, I mean, the Miami game the Miami game, the first one, he was great, but certainly the Auburn game where you won it on the road, the Mississippi State game in the rain where you kick like 6 field goals, the bowl game, Miami. I mean, like Greg McMahon getting Cole Tracy was massive, and then you got Joe Burrow. I mean, he inherited a staff from Les Miles. Anyway, but point is, like, sometimes coaches inherit good situations and don't do well with it. And that happened initially for Ed. And we got Joe Burrow. Like, awesome. I'm thrilled that he did because we all got to watch 2019. Let's see. On the PA, yeah, saw that. Christian, LSU should be making their debut in the top 10. Yesterday was a great day. Can't believe Cal blew a 25-point lead. Me either. I'll be curious to see if LSU gets in the top 10. I think they were 14. Do you go from 14 up to 10? Maybe. We'll see like how far teams drop. Like, I don't think Bama and Tennessee are falling out the top 10. Maybe they do, but maybe we'll see. You know, Michigan lost as well. Who I think Michigan was 11, right? Or were they 10? Maybe 11. Anyway. Cortland. So much better than UHA took an L than USC, Bama, Tennessee, Missouri all go down. Good week for the bye, no doubt. Sit back and watch them all beat each other. How much of the Eagle Rare did you partake of last night? I didn't, Thomas. Joseph Fallsgraf, morning. My second favorite team is whoever Alabama is playing. I was cheering hard. Alabama loses to an academic school. Kyle, how about the ACC rigging games for Miami? I don't do conspiracy theories, Kyle. Brad, good morning. Quinn, morning, Matt. What's your opinion on Feinbaum? I feel like the dude is all clickbait. It's melting right now with the Tennessee Bama losses. I think.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Drew. I don't know what Feinbaum has said, and I mean, listen, Paul has always been very nice to me. I've known him professionally for a long time, very cordial, and we don't have like a personal friendship or anything, but professionally we've always gotten along very well. He's built a massive thing, which deserves anybody's admiration. I think sometimes with ESPN platforms, especially in debate shows like First Take, for example, I know because I've literally seen this firsthand whenever I've gotten to go work First Take when they've been here in, like the couple times they were in New Orleans. One was for the NBA All-Star game. One was for the LSU Clemson championship game. I went and was like the sort of the hype man when they had a live audience. I mean, some of you may know this. I'll just say it again just really quickly so I'll give you some context. So when you have a live audience and that's like they're sitting there for like 3 hours when the show goes to commercial, like they have a hype man come out just to energize the crowd, throw stuff into the crowd, like just to make sure you keep the energy. And so they've hired me to do that the last couple of times. The last 2 times First Take was here. So when you're there, you're backstage in the green room. And I mean, I looked at the show board. I mean, they have the board of the topics and everything. And it's like, you know, who's taking what side to create the back and forth in a debate format. So sometimes I'm sure it's like, all right, this is going to be the point counterpoint. That's you take this side, I'll take this side. So there's always sort of that thing that could be factored in, but I don't know, man. I don't really care. Brian, sounds like Bryce and Mac Jones, a lot easier to play with an NFL offensive line and wide receivers. Okay, I am so far behind. Roll Tide 99. To quote you from last week, this will be the one that bites us in the behind. No consistency. Defense wears roller skates. It only goes backwards. Now, Roll Tide 99. I didn't pick Vanderbilt to beat Alabama. I didn't pick that. But I did point out when nobody else wanted to, when everybody's celebrating the win over Georgia, you blew a 28-point lead on your home field. And you did 4 turnovers and a safety and an amazing play by a super talented young guy in Ryan Williams to avoid an historic collapse. There's 2 sides to that story, right? There's you put up 40 points on Georgia, you built a 28-0 lead. All that's true. The other side of it is, Carson Beck was in la-la land throwing the ball to dudes in red shirts last week. And once they got it together in the second half, it was pretty overwhelming for Georgia. Got a buddy who's an Ole Miss fan. Even he's excited for your next Bam is burning. That's something that unites us all. It really is. It unites us all. I love watching Alabama struggle. Cortland, Cal stop playing defense. Okay. Give us your thoughts on the Saints possibly getting Devontae Adams. Yeah, Tommy, I've talked about it a bunch this week. First of all, I don't think it's going to happen. Sure sounds like Devontae Adams maybe wants to go elsewhere. Like the Jets might be his preferred destination with Aaron Rodgers. Saw he tweeted a picture on Instagram, a picture of Edgar Allan Poe, which would intimate the Ravens. I don't love giving a contract like that. Remember, when you trade for the player, you're trading for the contract as well. I don't love taking on a contract like that for a guy that's in his age 32, 33-year seasons in that deal. And giving up assets that would allow you to get younger. But if the Saints feel like they are a Devontae Adams away from being a contender, then you do it. And I think that's what the organization thinks. I don't necessarily agree, but I think that's where they think they are. Hey, please smash the like button if you're there on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Beamer's comment and post game about Ole Miss timely injuries was interesting. I mean, look, everybody fakes injuries now. It's an annoying part of the game, but it's part of the game. Go this way. Mother boy. Let's see. Hey, let's see. Haida wins by TKO in the 4th round. Roundtree held his own, was leading through 2 rounds. Okay. I missed it. Like I told y'all before, man, when it's football season, my MMA watching goes to 0. I'll watch again in January. Call me Larry. If Nick Saban was on the sideline yesterday, no way the SEC and NCAA let Bama lose. Stop, refs. It's just annoying to me, man. Like, to say, like, whatever. That fan narrative, the conspiracy, it's just so patently absurd. Like, I had someone trying to tell me last week that the NFL was rigged with the Falcons. And I'm like, okay, it's rigged, yet Younghoe Koo made a 58-yard field goal. How do you rig a guy making a 58-yard field goal? The hell out of here. Joel, college football is basketball now. Portal NIL of thin depth created less chemistry, virtually assuring parity every year. I think it's an interesting point. Go this way. I think what's interesting is the teams that best navigate this system can still. Look at the Chiefs in the NFL. Now I understand a big part of that is Mahomes, but go this way. But I think there's going to be programs that are set up for success. I'm also interested in how the revenue share may alter NIL. Does that change? To what degree does that change NIL? I think that's interesting. Charlie, good morning. Tony, still not forgotten the LSU-Tennessee game, Miles' first year. It was right there. I knew Miles was see? And by the way, Tony, Les Miles wasn't a fluke. Like, you don't win as much as he won over the course of 11-plus seasons by accident. It's not a fluke. Like, you're wrong in that respect. Les Miles is a very good coach. He just wasn't Nick Saban. Nobody was. The problem is, you had to look at Nick in the division all those years. And that was the basis of comparison. But winning a national title playing for a second national title, winning 2 SEC titles, playing for a third, winning 9 games a year in the SEC in a division where you have to look at Nick Saban every year. Go to sway. Like, that's not a fluke. Les Miles is a really good football coach. He just wasn't Nick Saban. Nobody was. Nobody is. Tim, I'm like a kid on Christmas Eve waiting for tomorrow's AFR. I really have to deliver tomorrow. Alex, good morning. Arkansas, I know. Craig, talking about the heat in Tiger Stadium. Remember being drenched in sweat, physically feeling heat radiating from people around us for the Monday Night Tennessee game. Yeah, that was the hottest game by heat index in Tiger Stadium history. I think it was like heat index was like 103 or 104. Tate yesterday opened the door wide open for LSU to make a run. Oh, morning Scone, man. We're not going to do the curse thing, even the inverted curse thing. It's morning Scone. Respectful of people and their families having their Sunday coffee and going to church and stuff. Brant, morning. How much is this favor LSU all season, or is it all null since so many top teams are even? Maybe. Well, mathematically, LSU is one of only 3 undefeated teams in the SEC. Texas A&M, and LSU are the only teams that are unbeaten in league play. So there's that. So mathematically, you still control your destiny, right? I think LSU's flawed, and they have losses ahead. They might lose this week to Ole Miss. They might lose at home to Bama. They could lose to Arkansas on the road. Doable. They could lose to A&M on the road. Doable. I just think you're going to have some really good wins and some disappointing losses moving forward. And I just think you're going to see the SEC continue to cannibalize itself. It's why my point of whenever all offseason, when people, SEC's getting 5 or 6 teams. No, you're not. Because the league is good. Teams lose. The league's going to cannibalize itself. And the committee has shown they will follow a path of least resistance. If there's a 9-3 SEC team that's played a meat grinder of a schedule, but a 10-2 ACC team, they're going to go with the 10-2 team because they're 10-2 and the other one's 9-3. It's just, they're going to follow the path of least resistance. You're right, Matt. Head scratching loss for Bama. Bummer is now like Rocky IV when Rocky gets that first punch that cuts Drago. I think it's more than that. Love your rant last night. Classic. Yes, Bama's burning. This is worse than Kirby losing to Vanderbilt in 2016. Oh, this is definitely worse. Kirby was trying to build them into a championship contender. This is Kalen DeBoer as the number 1 team in the country after beating Georgia and inheriting Nick Saban's program, losing to Vanderbilt. And not just that, you lost. It wasn't a fluke. Like, Vanderbilt was better than Alabama yesterday. Now, they could play 100 times, and Bama may win 99 of them. It's the one that mattered. You cannot lose the GOAT head coach and not regress. Any belief to the contrary was delusional. Kevin Toller, what's good? Kalen had a, what did I sign up for? Look in the fourth quarter. Matt is the biggest winner in America today. Tomorrow will be fun. Yes. Matt, is this better than a 2019 LSU Sunday morning? No, man. No. I mean, LSU winning in Tuscaloosa in 2019, ending the 8-game losing streak was incredible. All that whole season was amazing. Winning the national championship, come on. Go to sweet. Michael, South Carolina must be really quiet now after all the crying and complaining after the LSU game. Yeah, I don't really care about South Carolina. Cortland, people crap on Ashford over Sellers. Ashford had their best game offensively. They also played Akron. Akron is maybe the worst team in the FCS. That you have to consider who they played. Matt, you're right about everything. Tuning in from very happy Nashville this morning. Brian, Alabama being terrible is coming sooner than you think. There was something very Nebraska post Tom Osborne that I saw yesterday. Alabama's trademark physicality is gone. I want to be clear again. I have never said Alabama is going to be terrible. And I do not believe Alabama is going to be terrible. I've been so clear as to say it's not like they're going 6-6. They're not going to be awful. They're just not going to be invincible anymore. Like 9-3 instead of 12-0, 11-1 is going to become the Bama norm. But 9-3, where you have an occasional year where you pop and go 10-2, 11-1, make the playoff and go on a run, like that's doable. Like that's the existence LSU has had for the last 20 years, where you're consistently really good, really talented team. You're right there. And every half decade or so, you have the big pop breakthrough. Like that's what Alabama is going to be now, instead of the team that we just default into the championship every year. That's been my point for the last 9 months. Like the Bama is burning stuff is fun. It's theatrical. LSU fans love it. Bama fans hate it, which is why I keep doing it. But if I summarize what I have been saying for 9 months, it's that. It's not that they're going to be terrible, but you're going to see them lose to Vanderbilt. Like you're going to see them blow a 28-point lead. And you're going to see days where they go out there and beat Georgia and have really impressive days. Like, but that's everybody else. That's everybody else. That's Tennessee losing to Arkansas, but also going on the road and beating Oklahoma in front of that raucous crowd. Like, that's normal for everybody else. That's what's going to be normal for Bama now. Ole Miss has more injuries than Get Gordon's clientele. What's the latest on Hilton? He'll be ready to go against Ole Miss. He could have played last week against South Alabama. They didn't need him. Thomas, Rick, Omar, LSU should be worried about the next coming games. Yeah, they should. I mean, I mentioned this on Locked on LSU. Y'all go watch it or listen to it if you haven't yet, but go look at it. Like, Ole Miss at Arkansas, who just beat Tennessee, at A&M, who just blew out Missouri, Bama, which is always going to be a tough game no matter what, at Florida, who might be finding itself, but it's never easy to go win in Gainesville, Vanderbilt, who just beat Bama, Oklahoma, who what are they going to be by the time they get here? Back-to-back road games is really a thing. Check it out. Doesn't favor Ole Miss. It's true. I mean, I need to go look up the number, but it's something like, and I did it last year. It's just like it's the probability of winning back-to-back road conference games is so low. I'll go look up the stat again, but I did it last year because LSU had its back-to-back road conference games when it went at Ole Miss at Missouri. And of course it lost to Ole Miss and had a real tough time against Missouri. Like the back-to-back road conference games thing is real. And LSU's got to do that at Arkansas, at A&M, which is why before the season I picked them to lose to A&M. It's a blow. All right. Let me just go to the bottom to see if I can maybe catch up. I'm like 30 minutes behind on comments. I'm trying to be respectful of people who are commenting now. I'll go to the bottom and work my way up. Go Tigers in Nashville for the weekend. People are lit after the Vanderbilt game. Devin, what's good? Really excited to see how the offense opens up with Hilton on the field. Hopefully brings the dynamic. That's true. It's a dynamic you just haven't had. And he will add that dimension to the offense. Father JD Mathern, this weekend has proof polls are useless. Rocky, morning, Matt. Locked on Bama guy said it was the most embarrassing loss in program history. I mean, it's on the short list. I'm Gordy. Oh, it's Ryan. I mean, I'm not a Bama historian. I'll leave it to the Alabama people to determine if it's the worst or most embarrassing loss in history. I mean, they did lose to ULM. They did lose to LSU back in 93 in the Curly year. I mean, it was a 2-win LSU football or 3-win LSU football team. I mean, there's bad losses. There have been bad losses. Every program has them, but that's there. Yeah, Minnesota and Washington pull off upsets. So Minnesota beat Southern Cal. Washington was favored. That wasn't an upset. Washington was favored against Michigan. Had Washington in that game too, by the way. Morning, Scone. Good day yesterday, especially my Nichols guys winning 51-7 over Southern. Last two games, 127-7. Hey, man, Nichols is a good team. Like, it's a really good FCS team that came in and played LSU and put together a couple of nice scoring drives, man. Poor Arkansas getting overshadowed by Vandy. Making my girlfriend that went to Ole Miss watch. Vandy never had a 3-and-out. Wow, what a stat that is. Seth, ULM finally made a great hire. Brian Vincent's finally got some excitement behind ULM. What a Ryan. You want to come say hi to Dad's show? Nope. Last I saw, they were up 16. They finished it off 21-19. Good for them. They beat James Madison. Had ULM in that game with the points, but definitely a great hire. And Brian Vincent, the ULM coach, was the guy that was the interim at UAB, and they decided not to retain him and hired Trent Dilfer instead. And then ULM went and pummeled UAB, by the way. You think UAB is regretting that decision? Good for ULM, absolutely. Jamie Post, good morning. Christian, can't believe Vandy was 12-18 on third downs against Bama. One of the stats, by the way, I'll post it again for those that missed it earlier. The few times I posted it. Got the numbers to know from Bama Vanderbilt. One of the stats, Bama had only allowed 11 3-point or third down conversions all year. Vandy had 12 yesterday. Gordy. Oh, Ryan. T-Bob? Best bye week of all time. You made me laugh my butt off last night. Matt, you thought LSU baseball had run out of pitchers in the CWS. The magic happened. Go Tigers. They did. I mean, they did run out of pitchers. You literally had to get something on back-to-back nights that had not happened. You had Nate Ackenhausen give you 6+, and then you had Griffin Herring, who we saw this past year was awesome, but as a freshman extend 6 innings that he had never done. I mean, you got performances from guys on back-to-back nights that you hadn't gotten all year. It's massively improbable. It's also why we love sports. David Bass, good morning. By the way, Rick, I was the only one who thought that. Everyone thought that. I'm just the one with a microphone, and a lot of people listen to me, so they know when I say it because you go on the record with opinions. You tell me. Roar. Did you see Ryan yesterday? You want to come say hi to Dad's show? Gone. Jeremy, good morning. Tom, good morning. If Miles was such a good coach, why is he unemployed? Never got an offer from a top flight program. Tom, Les was also like timing and context matters, Tom. Like he coached at Oklahoma State and at LSU. He coached at LSU for nearly a dozen years. And when he was done, he was in his 60s. And I think some people know that Les isn't in the best of health right now as well. So that's actually a pretty terrible comment, Tom. I don't think you knew about Les, but like the health thing, but that's so off base and misplaced and misguided. Like Michigan was going to hire Les Miles in 2007 until LSU won the SEC championship and went and played for a national championship. Like that was happening. So come on, man. Like he coached at Oklahoma State, LSU, Michigan was going to hire him. Like that's. What are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? Okay. Miles' problem was offensive philosophy not adapting with the times. Listen, every coach has strengths and weaknesses. Here's what I'll tell you about Les. Les was fantastic at hiring assistant coaches. Fantastic. And delegating to them for the most part. Look at his coordinators. Brought Bo Pelini in the first time when Bo was a very hot commodity. Did great. You won a national championship. He was told to retain Jimbo. He didn't have an option. He retained Jimbo. And then when Jimbo left for Florida State, brought in Gary Croton, you won a national championship. When Croton left, you'd brought in Cragthorpe. Cragthorpe got ill. You promoted Stadrawa, as we saw. And then after that, went to Cam. And we'll talk about Cam in a second. But defensively, the one flub he had was the Malvito experiment. He promoted from within with Pivito and Mallory. It didn't work. After 1 year, got rid of him, brought in John Chavis. And you can say what you want about how it ended with John Chavis, but at the time, John Chavis effectively saved Les's job because he stabilized that defense in 9, 10, 11, and built to 12, built toward LSU being a championship caliber team again. When Chavis left, you brought in Kevin Steele, who was fantastic for one season. And then you brought in Dave Aranda. Like, Les was great at that. Les hired Steve Ensminger. Les hired Corey Raymond. Les hired Ed Ogeron as his defensive line coach. Les Miles did a phenomenal job of identifying coaching talent and building his staff. Les also was a great recruiter. Talk to players, talk to parents of players. They'll tell you. I've had conversations with them. Like, on a couch, in a living room, talking to parents, they're few better than Les was. So for all the idiosyncrasies and everything that went on with Les, there's a lot he did great that helped build the program to what it was. Les's fatal flaw was, we all know it. After 08 with the interceptions, he offensively said, I'm never losing games like that again. So he went into a shell. And he built a roster that allowed them to compete with great defense, running the football, possessing the ball. But as he needed to evolve, as the game was evolving, he didn't. And ultimately, that cost him his job.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Drew. Okay. Mincy said if Ole Miss doesn't win with their 1 year paid guys, it goes bad fast. Seth, why get Adams when you can't pass? Oh, talking about Devontae Adams. Christian, prior to Vandy's win yesterday in the history of college football, top 5 teams. Hey, by the way, that was a statistic from my guy Chris Marler at LouisianaSports.net that everybody is now stealing. So, but yes, that was something that was in Numbers to Know at LouisianaSports.net. It's funny. Marler did that, put it out, then all of a sudden you started seeing these stats pop up everywhere. Even ESPN used one on one of their graphics, used one of the stats Marler put out. That's right. But yes, that's that. Christian, Chris Marler did the legwork, found that stat, put it out, and everybody copied it. That's right. Just know where it came from. That's why you should be reading LouisianaSports.net. Bookmark it. All right. We might be just about to wrap up here, y'all. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Still got 450 people watching live, man. That's fantastic. Hey, Wayne, good morning. Scott, do you think any NFL team would be crazy to draft Milroe in the first round? I do, Scott, but I also know how the NFL works. Anthony Richardson went 4th overall, despite starting one season. Mitch Trubisky went 2nd overall, despite starting for one season. They're going to look at Milroe, his freakish athletic ability, his great arm talent, and someone's going to take him in round 1. I would not. I think that in the NFL, accuracy and decision-making is paramount. And I don't believe Jalen Milroe has shown that. I think the deep balls he throws, largely, you see, look at the 3 most recent plays that we're going to talk about. The pass to Ryan Williams against Georgia was a play where Williams had to stop and jump for the football. Underthrown, stop. It was just a jump ball. And then 2 plays yesterday, the 58-yarder to Ryan Williams and the one at the 48-yarder to Jeremy Bernard. Go back and watch both plays. The receiver has the defensive back beat, has to stop, come back, and jump for the football. Like, now contrast that to Jaden Daniels throwing dimes to Brian Thomas, dropping him in a bucket 55 yards downfield. Like, I think there's a difference. Someone that everyone called stupid and dumb last night made a lot of money. Who? Talking Nashville of mounting the goalpost as a permanent memorial to the win. It should. Cortland, I don't know why, but it definitely feels worse to lose to Vandy than a G5 usually. Quentin, good morning. Brett, good morning. Good morning. Is it 2007 again? Bring on the beautiful chaos. Carl, wish I could have seen that girl that had the meltdown a few years ago after the loss. Ole Miss is my life, my life. Oh, yeah. Watch 53 Hurd. He looked slow, lazy, got beat multiple times to faster defensive ends. Yeah, he's also a pretty elite left tackle. And I wish he were still at LSU. You can make yourself feel better about it because he plays at Tennessee now, but the bottom line is that dude is a giant and he is a physical freak and he is every bit a true left tackle. He was going against Lance Hurd last night was going against Landon Jackson, interestingly, because those are both former LSU Tigers. Landon Jackson, the defensive end for Arkansas, Lance Hurd, now the left tackle for Tennessee. And Landon Jackson was preseason all-conference and is on All-America teams. Like, Landon Jackson's is on some mock drafts as a first-round pick in the NFL. He's a really good player. So, yeah, you're going to lose a couple times to a guy that's that good. Terry Kimball, a long day tomorrow. Going to cover Pelicans preseason game. Saints watch party tomorrow night. Hey, we'll be over at, by the way, reminds me, we'll be at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at LeBear's on Monday. So, my show's at LeBear's tomorrow. How am I going to do Bama's burning from LeBear's?
That textbook. Ooh.
I got to figure this out. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. All right, I got to put my head around this because I was already starting to think of what I was going to do. Well, AFR from LeBear's, I can't do the flames on the screen, the 04 tune. Like, I got to figure out what I'm going to do. Go Tigers. Goalpost in the river. Our defensive ends are going to be foaming at the mouth to get to Milrow. Morning, Scone, with a bye week. What do you think LSU will be ranked this week? Maybe they bump up to 10, 11, somewhere in that range. I just don't know that Bama and Tennessee aren't falling out of the top 10. Well, Bama could. I doubt you're going from 1 to 11 or lower. I think you'll leap ahead of Michigan. You'll leap ahead of Missouri. Yeah, let's say LSU be 11. I'll say 11. Jaleel, the Jim Carrey gifts on Twitter were killing me last night. It's just so easy to troll Bama fans. Like, it just become part of my day. Sweet. Morning, Matt. Love the reaction video. When Bama loses, it's a great day to be alive. Remember when ULM beat him back in Saban's first year? Go Tigers. Miles maintain LSU for 12 years after Saban. Let's see what Alabama looks like in 12 years. That's a great point. Destin, we better beat Bama now. You may not beat Bama. Like, this is the thing that you got to understand about all the points I've made about the Bama's burning everything. It is not looking through an LSU lens to say now LSU is going to beat Bama every year. Like, Bama is still going to be really good. They have good players. Like, who on LSU's team is going to cover Ryan Williams? Nobody. Like, he's a problem. Jalen Milroe, you couldn't stop him from running all over you last year. You any better this year? Don't know. We'll see. Like, I'm not pounding the table telling you definitively LSU is going to beat Alabama. It's nothing about that. It's just to say Bama is not ever again going to be what they were under Nick Saban. Bill, good morning. Gulf South, to be fair, ESPN put that out of the game. Put that out as the game ended. They still progressed. They did. Let's see. Roger Dodger, good morning. I shouldn't say stole, but because a stat is a stat, right? But yes. Sweet. Morning, Matt. Thank you for the reaction video. Love when Bama loses. Zachary, do you think LSU will be prepared for Ole Miss coming off a bye? Had the entire offseason to prepare for big games. Didn't look so great. Yeah, I think LSU will be prepared. I think they'll be healthy. I think it's very difficult what Ole Miss is walking into, considering it'll be a night game in Tiger Stadium. It'll be their 7th consecutive game, 3rd consecutive SEC game, back-to-back road conference games. I think the spot is probably why I like LSU a little bit this weekend. If Ole Miss were coming off the bye and the game were in Oxford, I would easily pick Ole Miss to win this game. But LSU coming off the bye, 3 straight physical SEC games for Ole Miss, back-to-back road conference games. I kind of like LSU in the spot. Lean to LSU. Tara Langlois, Cortland, game 1 with revamped defense 3 years in a row versus coming off by 5 weeks into a season are different scenarios. Yes, true. Jerry, talking pouring salt on a Bama fans' wound. The SC Network is already replaying the Vandy Bama game this morning. Jason Mobile, Matt, with all the losses yesterday, is that helping us in the Heisman race? Maybe, Jason, but it's way too early, man. I did have the updated Heisman odds are at LouisianaSports.net. Milroe, let's see, I'll tell you what they are right now. Here it is. Milroe Heisman odds. Let's see. So Travis Hunter is actually the betting favorite right now, 3-1. Ashton Genty at 4-1. Cam Ward 5-1. Nico 10-1. Milroe 12-1. Dylan Gabriel 14-1. Huge spot for Dylan Gabriel. If Gabriel and Oregon beat Ohio State this weekend, I think Gabriel becomes the betting favorite. Carson Beck, Jackson Dart, Quinn Ewers 25-1. Let's see. Does this upset top Purdue versus Ohio State in 2018? Yeah, it does. It's Vandy. 0-60 all time against top 5 opponents. It's Vandy. Yes. Kelly 1-1 off of buys, 2-0 in Bulls. Landon Jackson lost, which was poo-pooed by someone who transferred to LSU. I remember, Landon tore his ACL, and the thing about Landon, whenever he, when he was at LSU, the knock was just the size and physicality were great. The knock was the athleticism, his bend, his get off. But he's improved tremendously, man. No doubt about it. He's been great. Issue having 3 straight rebuilt defenses in week 1 against Power 5 team is bigger deal than prep time. Marcus, we go into 16 next year. No, you have at least 2 years. So 26 would be the first opportunity to go to 16 or change the format or whatever. Contractually, this year or next year, you're locked into this format. Rick, Christian, this is your opportunity to advance the bit like you've been saying. For your core fam is burning. I need to do something. I know. I got to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do. 2 teams take second losses, assume 2 spots. Mike, ranking early in the season pointless. Yeah, it's nothing more than an exercise to generate conversation. I wish we didn't have rankings until October. I feel bad for Miles' kids. No, used to have Smacker on. Sweet and good at her job. They're a great family, man. They're a great family. Kathy's awesome. Manny and Ben. And look, I don't know if you know, Macy is a college softball player, the baby. I mean, when Les took that job, Macy was a baby, like she was an infant. She grew up in Baton Rouge, and she's I think she's at UCF. I think she's at UCF. She's a really good player. Yeah. And Macy Miles is playing softball at UCF. Smacker lives in Dallas. Doing TV and stuff. I think Manny and Ben are both coaching, if I'm not mistaken. But look, they were like the first family of Baton Rouge for a dozen years, man. I want good things for them. I do. All right. Malachi Moore. Yikes. Malachi Moore's a good player. Really good player. Mike, I don't think Ole Miss was that much better than South Carolina. They spotted them 2 touchdowns early, couldn't run the ball. Ole Miss's fast starts are real, and LSU's slow starts are real. That's something you got to consider this week. Pavi is going to be a problem. He's a really good player, man. Was A&M that good yesterday? Mizzou that bad? So I think Mizzou has been a fraud. Like, Mizzou struggled against Boston College. If Vanderbilt would have made a 28-yard field goal at the gun, Vandy would have won at Mizzou. I mean, Mizzou's not very good. That said, A&M was very impressive yesterday. Like, regardless of what Mizzou is or isn't, that was very impressive by Texas A&M yesterday. Georgia running the table is a very real possibility, and they will have opportunities against Ole Miss and Texas. Georgia wins those games and Beck plays well. Yeah. Like, this is actually a great buy low spot on Carson Beck, because you can say whatever you want. He did lead them back against Bama last week. Now, he dug them in the hole with 4 turnovers, but he also led them back. Just saying. Gulf South, seems like both LSU and Bama have lost physicality under these new coaches. Am I crazy saying that? Do you agree? I agree. It's the line of scrimmage, Gulf South. I think LSU's offensive line is a big physical veteran offensive line with some really good players. Defensively, I don't think there's any question. It just doesn't look how it used to, man. Sellers couldn't hit a pass to save his life yesterday. I don't expect Nuss to be that off target for a game. Yeah, Lenore Sellers isn't a good player. Like, that was my point all the way leading up to that game. And I know, like, South Carolina busted off too long. The first drive of the game was impressive. But remember, the first play of the game against South Carolina, Perkins missed a tackle on the tight end in the flat where you would have had a TFL. Instead, it was 17 yards, and boom, they're off and running. But they busted 2 long runs. They had a swarming defense and busted 2 long runs against LSU. That's about what the South Carolina game was. So, took the live bet yesterday with Arkansas, cashed the ticket. There you go. All right, Tremaine. Mitchell, Matt, you think they use Lat to travel with Kelsey the way they do Pitts? He shuts Pitts out every matchup. Different kind of matchup. Especially no Rashee Rice. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that. Preseason. Every year there's a preseason top 10 team that finishes the season unranked. Happens every year. Hi, who you see? Who do you see? And who else?
Dad.
Good job. True sighting. It's like Sasquatch or Yeti. It's like sighting in the wild. John, good morning. Sanders was Carolina's offense. They missed him yesterday. When Rocket Sanders is healthy, he's really good. ATX, let's see. A&M, Texas maybe for an Aggie spot in the playoff. Could be. Thomas projected 8th, and LSU projected 8th, Bama 9th this morning. We shall see. All right, y'all. I think we're done. Really good show. Thanks to everybody for being here. Still 400 people watching live. Much respect and love to all of you. I appreciate you for being there. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. As always, shout out to Brock, Parrish, Unique Physique, Restored Motions. They're all linked in the description on YouTube and tagged on Facebook. Remember, if you need an orthopedist, Brock After Hours Clinic is open nights and weekends. No appointment necessary. Parrish would love to help you out with a free, no obligation roofing inspection. We're pinned in the chat. So the Parrish link right there, would love it. Unique Physique, Restored Motions, Unique Physique, semaglutide, tirzepatide. The news last week about tirzepatide being hard to get. Unique Physique has their relationships with their pharmacies. They've got it. No worries at all. They lowered prices last week as well. Whole thing over telemed. They can ship your medicine anywhere in the country, so you don't even have to be in Baton Rouge. No contracts, lowest prices, uniquephysique.com. And of course, you're in pain, book a session with Crystal Poche over at Restored Motions and restoredmotions.com. What would the world look like if Vandy took down Texas 2? I don't know that I want to live in that world. I don't know that I want to live in that world where Vanderbilt all of a sudden is that good. Anyway. All right, let's get out of here. I'm going to go to church, take Drew to the mall, enjoy some NFL games this Sunday. Y'all have an awesome day. We'll see you. Anchored